when you're talking about the principles in the passing game. Go down. Now, talk about timing and spacing. Timing and spacing, the biggest thing. Timing and spacing equals completions. So I got to get spaced up, and I got to be on time. I got to be on the quarterback's clock. That's the biggest thing one of the biggest things I got to understand. So I got to understand this timing and spacing equals completions. So talk about the timing and spacing. Who's my movement key? Who are we high-lowing? It goes back to talking about defensive football, first of all. Talking about the defensive football. Who am I high-lowing? Who's the movement key for the quarterback? You got to understand that. You and the quarterback has got to be on the same page. We're reading the same guy. You know, if I'm attacking the outside shoulder to Mike on a high-low and my slot to fit my number 3 receivers going to high-low over top of him, I got to stay outside. He's got to be high and inside. So I've got to understand the movement key. Be spaced up on the quarterback's clock. One thing that myself, Coach Watson, our offensive coordinator, he's big on that. We went into the University of Florida game. We knew what the defensive line, I mean, we were like, oh, I mean, we knew that we were in for it, you know, that we had to get open fast. So that's the biggest thing that we had to understand. These are some of the things that we knew we had to get open fast. We had to get open on Teddy's clock. So if Teddy's at a 3-step, we got to be spaced up when he hits the 3rd step. If he's at a 5-step, we've got to be spaced up on that 5th step. So we've got to understand what's the QB's clock, who's the movement key. So we got to get open and get open fast. Timing equals protection. It equals protection. I know a lot of guys, when you see a quarterback get sacked, you talk about the offensive line or the quarterback made the wrong read or he's patting the ball. But a lot of that, guys, has to do with the receivers as well. It has to do with the receivers as well. You notice how I talked about the run every route like his man, the releases, timing and spacing equals completion. Timing as well equals protection. It equals protection. If we're not spaced up, we're not getting open fast, we're not where we're supposed to be on the quarterback's clock, it equals a sack. And my guys, we got to understand that when we're running routes. Timing and ball placement equals yaks. It equals yaks. So my timing, my spacing, because you always want to run after the catch. And that's the biggest thing that I talked to my guys about because we wasn't very good at it the year before, but I wanted to get better at yards after the catch. So I knew we had to get open fast. I knew we had to know who the movement key was. We had to think just like the quarterback. You know, so if you want yaks, you got to get open. You got to get open fast. Separation is the key.